What you're about to see, science cannot explain. Africa, continent of 54 nations, 1.4 billion people, and secrets that have terrified humanity for millennia tonight. We reveal 7 phenomena so disturbing, so inexplicable, that scientists have either given up investigating or been warned to stop from. Cameroon to Namibia, from Zimbabwe to the Congo. These are Africa's most terrifying, unexplained phenomena. What you're about to discover may disturb you. It may challenge everything you believe about this world. But one thing is certain. The proof is out there. Let's begin with number 7. Phenomenon number 7. Lake Nyos. Cameroon, from above, it looks like paradise, a pristine crater lake. Nestled in the mountains, home to several villages. On the evening of August 21st, 1986, over 2,000 people went to sleep. They had no warning, no earthquake, no explosion. What came for them was invisible, not silent, and absolutely deadly. By morning, 1,746 people were dead, along with over 3,500 livestock. Survivors described waking to find their entire families dead beside them. There was no fire, no violence, no marks on the bodies. What killed them? Science says a limnic eruption. Supposedly, carbon dioxide trapped at the lake's bottom suddenly released like opening a shaken soda bottle, the gas heavier than air. Rolled down the valleys and suffocated everything in its path. But here's what the official explanation doesn't tell you. What triggered the eruption? Scientists still don't know. There was no earthquake, no landslide, no volcanic activity. For no apparent reason, the lake simply exhaled death. But locals tell a different story for generations. They called it the Bad Lake. They spoke of spirits living in its depths. Legends warned that the lake would one day wake up and take its payment today. Scientists have installed the gassing pipes to prevent another eruption. But here's the terrifying truth. The lake is still accumulating gas, and the pipes, they remove only 30% of what builds up each year. Over 10,000 people still live in the danger zone around Lake Nyos. The lake is sleeping, but it will wake again. The question isn't if, the question is when. Scientists monitor, locals pray. The lake remains silent. But some silences are the loudest warnings of all. If a lake can kill without warning, what else is hiding across this continent? Our next phenomenon has puzzled scientists for 70 years. And what they've discovered changes everything. Phenomenon number 6 takes us to one of the oldest deserts on Earth, the Namib Desert, a landscape so ancient. Dinosaurs once walked here. But something is here that shouldn't be possible. They're called fairy circles, and there are millions of them. Perfect circles of barren earth, surrounded by thriving grass. Each one precisely formed, nothing grows inside them. Nothing has for decades. Scientists have studied these circles for over 70 years. They've tested the soil, analyzed the grass, studied satellite imagery, and they still cannot agree on a single explanation. Theory 1, termites. Some scientists believe sand termites kill grass roots to create water traps. But here's the problem. Many circles have no termite activity whatsoever. Theory 2, competition. Grass competing for water creates natural spacing patterns, but no other desert on Earth has. Patterns this perfect, why only here? Theory 3, toxic gases seeping from underground. Results inconclusive. The mystery deepens, but what we found while researching this video changes everything. When viewed from high enough altitude, the circles form larger patterns. Hexagonal structures, mathematical precision, as if designed by an intelligence. These patterns mirror structures found in nature at molecular levels. But the local Imba people have always known the truth, or at least the truth. They call them footprints of the gods, sacred markers left by the original god. Mukuru, the Himba never walk inside them. They're considered doorways between worlds. Doorways between worlds, footprints of gods. What if they're not wrong? New circles appear regularly. Old ones persist for up to 75 years. And here's what most documentaries don't tell you. They've now been found in Australia, saying patterns, same mystery, 12,000 kilometers apart. How did identical phenomena develop on opposite sides of the world? The fairy circles of Namibia remain one of nature's most beautiful mysteries, perfect, ancient, unexplained. Maybe the Himba are right. Maybe we're looking at footprints. Or something beyond our understanding. But if you think circles in the desert are strange, wait until you see what moves in the Sahara, phenomenon number 5. The Sahara Desert. Over 9 million square kilometers of the most hostile terrain on Earth. But in the most remote corners of this wasteland, something impossible happens. Rocks move. By themselves. Leaving trails hundreds of meters long. They're called sailing stones. And they've baffled scientists for a century. No one has ever seen them move, not once. Not in over 100 years of observation. But the evidence is undeniable. Position A 1 month, position B the next, trail connecting them. Some of these rocks weigh over 300 kilograms. Try pushing one. It won't budge. The wind? Not strong enough. Not even close. In California's Death Valley. Scientists finally solved their sailing stones mystery using ice sheets. But here's the problem. The Sahara doesn't freeze. Temperatures regularly exceed 50 degrees Celsius. No ice, no wind, no earthquakes. The Sahara's sailing stones remain completely unexplained. But ancient rock art in the region tells a different story. Our ancestors depicted these moving. Stones, they may have witnessed what we cannot. Tuareg nomads call them spirit walkers. Stones carrying the souls of the dead. They believe the stones only move when no living eyes are watching, as if they're stones. Know when they're being observed. Scientists set up motion-activated cameras. The results? Nothing. The cameras captured nothing, but the stones still moved. Batteries drained, footage corrupted, equipment malfunctions every single time. Coincidence? Equipment failure? Or something that doesn't want to be seen? Every morning, the sun reveals new trails. New movements, new questions. The Sahara's sailing stones continue their silent migration. Watching, waiting, moving only when we look away. But stones that move are one thing. What about places where nothing works at all? In the Congo, there's a zone where technology fails and people disappear. If you're enjoying this journey into Africa's Unexplained, subscribe now. What's coming next is... Unlike anything you've heard, let's continue. The Congo Basin awaits. Phenomenon number 4, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Home to the second largest rainforest on Earth, over 2 million square kilometers of wilderness. But there's one region that even the most experienced explorers refuse to enter. The locals call it the Zone of Silence, and what happens here defies all logic first. Your compass stops working. It spins, points everywhere, points nowhere. GPS fails. Satellite phones go dead. Radio frequencies become static. A French documentary crew in 2015 lost for drones in 1 day. All crashed within the zone. Local guides will take you to the edge, but no further. They say once you cross the boundary, the forest changes. The rules change. The first thing explorers notice, the silence. Jungles are loud. This one is not. No birds, no insects, no animal sounds, just your own heartbeat. Explorer Jacques Marchand wrote in 1972, "The forest is watching us. It knows we don't belong." Reports describe paths that change. Landmarks that move, exits that disappear. Multiple expeditions have reported walking in straight. Lines for hours only to end up exactly where they started. Since 1960, over 40 people have gone missing in this region. Only 12 were ever found. Their equipment was recovered. Their bodies, never. Scientists theorize magnetic anomalies from underground mineral deposits could explain the compass. Failures, but surveys show no unusual mineral concentrations. The readings are normal. Local Mongo tribes have a different explanation. They say the forest is home to the Makumbem, a creature so ancient, so powerful, that even the forest obeys its will. Descriptions match the sauropod dinosaurs that supposedly went extinct 65 million years ago. Is something living in there? Something that shouldn't exist? Night vision cameras have captured unexplained shapes. Sounds have been recorded that match no known animal. Listen to this recording from 2018. Bioacoustic experts couldn't identify it. Too low for any known African animal. Too loud for anything that's small. The zone of silence keeps its secrets, and perhaps that's for the best. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. Some places aren't meant to be found. But Africa has more than dangerous places. It has dangerous histories. Our next phenomenon is a place of incredible beauty, an unexplained terror. The Great Zimbabwe. What happened here? Still haunts it. Phenomenon number 3, the Kingdom of Zimbabwe, built over 900 years ago. This was once the center of a powerful empire. At its height, Great Zimbabwe controlled gold trade across southern Africa. Thousands called it home. The city's most mysterious structure, a 30-foot conical tower, solid stone, no entrance. No interior to this day. No one knows what it was for, but the real mystery isn't how it was built, it's why it was. Abandoned sometime in the 15th century, the entire population vanished. No signs of war, no evidence of disease, no exodus recorded. When archaeologists excavated, they found human remains, positioned strangely, facing walls, as if they were hiding from something. Or couldn't bear to look at it today. Locals refuse to visit the ruins after dark, and paranormal investigators have taken notice. Electromagnetic readings inside the walls consistently spike far beyond normal levels. Audio equipment captures whispers, words and languages that haven't been spoken in centuries. Investigators report feeling watched. Some describe being touched by invisible hands. Visitor. Photographs consistently show unexplained anomalies, shadows that shouldn't exist. Local Shona people say the spirits of Zimbabwe's ancient kings still protect this place. They say the kings never left. They're waiting, watching, judging. In 2019, a research team spent the night inside the walls. By morning, two had left permanently. They described seeing figures in the darkness, hearing drums, feeling hands on their shoulders. The footage was largely corrupted, but what remains raises more questions than answers. This frame, enhanced. What is that shape in the doorway? Great Zimbabwe stands today as it has for centuries, beautiful, mysterious, watching. UNESCO calls it a World Heritage Site. Locals call it sacred ground. We call it phenomenon number 3. But if spirits of the dead unsettle you, the next phenomenon will terrify you. Because in Zambia, people don't fear ghosts. They fear what's very much alive. Phenomenon number 2. The Jundu swamps of Zambia. A landscape that time forgot. This is one of Africa's most inaccessible regions, and home to its most terrifying legend. The Kongamaro. In the local language, it means breaker of boats. Eyewitnesses describe a flying creature with leathery wings spanning up to 7 feet, no feathers, reptilian skin, a long beak filled with sharp teeth, red eyes that glow at night. In other words, a perfect description of a pterodactyl, a creature extinct for 65 million years. British explorer Frank Mellon first documented Kongamaro sightings in 1923. When he showed locals illustrations of pterosaurs, the reaction was immediate. That's Kongamaro. Since then, sightings have spread across 3 countries, hundreds of reports. Thousands of witnesses in 1988. Professor Roy Mackal led an expedition specifically to find the Kongamaro. What he found disturbed him. To many consistent descriptions from people who couldn't have communicated with each other, Mackal concluded either mass hallucination affecting thousands, or something unknown is flying over these swamps. Then there are the attacks, documented injuries. Consistent with large talons, survivors describe being attacked from above while crossing water, not from their boats clawed. Hospital records from the region list dozens of animal attacks, species unknown each year. Game wardens have tried to identify the attacker. They've matched it to nothing in their databases. Night vision footage captured in 2014 shows something. What that something is remains debated, frame by frame, wingspan estimated at over 2 meters, flight pattern non-avian. No identification. Skeptics suggest the hammerhead stork or giant fruit bats. Both live in the region, but compare them to witness descriptions. The differences are significant. Witnesses who see storks daily know the difference. They insist the Kongamaro is something else. The Jundu swamps remain largely unexplored. Satellite mapping has revealed areas never seen by humans. What could survive in there? What has been surviving in there for millions of years? Consider the coelacanth was extinct for 66 million years until one was caught in 1938. Still, alive, still fishing. Nature has hidden survivors before. Why not a flying reptile in Africa's most? Remote swamps? The Congo model remains unconfirmed. But for villagers living in its shadow, confirmation isn't necessary. They know what hunts in the twilight. They've buried its victims. As night falls over the Jundu swamps, one question echoes, what's watching from the darkness? But our final phenomenon, our number one, isn't about what watches. It's about what makes. Hundreds of people vanish. In a single night, phenomenon number one, East Africa, a region of small villages, close communities, and families who have lived on the same land for generations. What we're about to describe is documented, it's verified, and it has never been explained. We're not using names, we're not using exact locations. The families asked for privacy, but the facts remain. On an ordinary evening, in an ordinary village of 147 registered inhabitants, something happened. Something that erased an entire community from existence. The next morning, traders from a neighboring village arrived as they did every week. What they found stopped them in the tracks. The village was empty, completely empty. But everything was still there. Meals half-eaten, chairs pushed back, beds slept in but abandoned midnight. Personal belongings scattered as if people left in the middle of whatever they were doing. The livestock remained, the dogs remained, but not a single human being. The dogs were found cowering, pointing toward the forest, refusing to move. 147 people gone, no footprints leading away, no tracks, no signs of struggle. Police investigated for 3 weeks, they found nothing.